episode of Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
I'm Kaila.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Already. Likewise. What are we going over today, Laney?
Dystopian works.
Alrighty, I know that somebody really loves to read and write dystopian works.
I think we can both agree that I'm probably the dystopian queen.
Aww.
I would say, yeah, I would agree with that, especially if it's the hardcore, almost genre version.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So, what is the first question?
Why do you feel that dystopian works are continuously picking up attention?
Because we live in a world which is going, and I say this nicely, we're going to, I'm not going to say it,
Hell in a handbasket?
yeah, okay, yeah, you can say it like that. I guess I didn't want to say it, but I want to say it, I wanted to say it without saying it. Well, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? I say it, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're going to hate, you won't gonna hate me after like 5 minutes, and I don't blame you. No, seriously, the world has gone to in a handbasket, and it's, you know, some people might say no, and I'll say, look on the news, and you want to, you know, my TV, I unplugged it, and that was 6 years ago.
I think it's always been that way.
Yeah,
I agree with George Carlin where he said that global warming is a scam, because I have that idea that humans are going to drive themselves into extinction, but the world is still going to go on, or if it's going to rejuvenate. I think we're something of that caliber is going to rejuvenate. But I feel that the reason that dystopian works continue to be relevant is because they make projections about the future that in a creepy way become evident.
Yeah.
And the question more so is, what steps are we taking in order to contribute to this future that's being predicted by the dystopian novels? And what can we do to stop it? And are people too cumbersome in the head to realize this?
Like cucumbers,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just so, it's just this whole sense
I'm sorry, folks.
it's just this whole sense of being,
Naive, would you say?
it's ignorant.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's people that are just so, all they care about is
money,
themselves
wealth,
and their
power. That's it. That's what people
pretty
want
much.
these days. And when I say people, I don't mean that every single person.
And then you
on
have
the
people
planet.
that, yeah, money, wealth, power, sex.
I don't want that.
Uh,
I want cookies.
just and things, just themselves in general. It's just what can you do for me, or what's in it for me, and
Yeah.
that's really.
Oh, I want something. I want, you know, and you know.
You look anxious to say something.
Yes. So you guys are, I agree that it's like we see our world reflected in dystopian fictions, but I think a big part of what makes dystopian fiction so important right now is it kind of gives us a weird, dismal sense of hope. You know, we watch these books take down a government and a society they dislike, and, you know, we feel that way about our society largely right now, and I feel like it gives us hope that we can do the same in our own world, and no matter what dystopian we may end up in, I feel like these books give us hope that we can overcome that.
Every 4 years, Darwin proves strong.
And I think that we can, if we possess that particular mindset or an urge to want to make those changes, as opposed to fall for the tyranny that's taking place, kind of like the bucket heads that were in the SpongeBob movie, where Plankton gives them those buckets to water their heads.
Mind control.
Yeah, it is a lot of it has to do with mind control in different ways.
You know, and I always say, you know, especially when I go out and put out for a job I actually dumb down some resumes. No one tell anybody this, but still. And I don't recommend doing it because it, you know.
Someone did argue that mediocrity rules the world because.
And you know, but
It doesn't stand out.
Yeah, you're not taking away from the control that's.
I was actually caught doing that. And
What dystopian work proved to be the most thought-provoking to you, and why?
Kaila?
Well, I think I have read about 90% of dystopians under the sun, but probably pretty close
okay.
to it.
No,
It's
seriously,
my favorite genre. I loved Fahrenheit 451. I think about that book every single day. But the
You're
one
welcome.
series, yes, thank you so much. The one series, dystopian-wise, that has truly stuck with me and I think about at least 3 times a day is honestly the Hunger Games series, because you have a trilogy. It is so in depth and there's just so much to it, and I really think that it's really comparable to our world in a direction that we could be heading in. And
I think in a way that it's already been touched upon with the Vietnam War.
yeah, definitely.
And how they were drafting 18-year-old males.
Absolutely.
What was the purpose of the war really?
Mhm.
There were some things that could be argued, but a lot of it was it's just so much that you can also wonder why JFK was assassinated,
Mhm.
because it was when Johnson got in that the Vietnam War started to escalate. But I think before I get into some political discussion, there are moments where we're already seeing.
Yeah, and the way we just make spectacles of death, and I wasn't even thinking like drafting kids into war. I was just thinking more of like the way their communities are set up. It's just, keep everybody completely separated so you don't know what's really going on, and the media controls exactly what you see and hear, and it's just, we're already, the middle, upper, and lower classes are already so separated, and I just really think that's a way we could go.
Because Herbert Hoover probably said it best. Old men declare wars, young men fight in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And in this
Exactly.
case, it was people they made crucial mistakes, so they're letting the lower generations, or the future generations, pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I like Henry Hoover.
is it's disturbing, it's disgusting,
Relatable.
it is relatable too. It's the same thing with the way it's the same way the government government makes they can't balance a budget and we have to pay more taxes.
Yep.
All right, speaking of government, may I?
Yes.
Okay. How many of you here have obviously, vote on this one? Have you ever heard Big Brother is always watching?
1984.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That was also the year. No, but that was a good year for my parents. Basically, it's all mind control. And you have mayhem, death, destruction. You could be vaporized even if you are in the unconscious, if you are sleeping. You have a television at home, right? Okay. You can turn it off when you want to. Like, okay, I'm done with this. In this world, you can't, because they're called telescreens. And basically, they have all these programs on it. It's kind of like an infomercial on steroids.
Big Brother's always watching.
Yeah, because you can't turn off this TV because there's no button. You can lower the volume a little bit, right? Your mind is not even safe. You can't have private thoughts because this Big Brother is kind of like God in a way, and it was, but still, and it's the party is the government, and there's the person I'm talking about. He has, of course, in every book, whatnot, story, there's always someone who has a goal and wants to achieve it. And in this case, he couldn't accept it for some reason. And I read this book over the course of 3 days, so a lot of reading for 3 days. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm doing a lot of other work right now. But when I read, I sit down and I'm like, and it's good. It was really, really a really good book. And also a great year for music as well. But girls just wanna have to. We're gonna edit that. No, but basically, these TVs, they interacted with you. Stop doing that. Is basically, an example. Or and committing a crime was obviously you get thrown in jail, and there's the room 101.
Oh, that was pretty creepy.
And there's all these ministries, the ministry of love. Basically, no, that's not love. It's torture. It's hate. There's the ministry of peace, I think it was. No, they're always broadcasting about how they're at war with another.
Just that image from World War
Yeah.
I. It's just the worst possible image that
Yeah.
each individual
Yeah.
can fathom. I'm not going to make mention to it yet.
Yeah,
I know
neither
that
am
we may talk about it on a future episode.
Yeah. 2 plus 2 equals 5? No, it doesn't. But that has to be accepted for some reason. Mathematically speaking.
Because you have to surrender your control to
Exactly. And
the authorities.
Yeah. 2 and 2. Now, I have a friend of mine who is an acquaintance now, but he proved 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. How great, I don't know. I'm glad you bought the t-shirt. I can't do math for the life of me, but 2 plus 2 is 4. If I have 2 cookies and I add another 2 cookies, I have 4 cookies. I wish I had 5, but I don't. I don't have anything right now.
Mm.
Anyway, you can tell I'm a little hungry right now. And watch some other episodes, but still, basically, you're being watched. And in today's world, where you can't even go into a dressing room and worry that the glass is, and there's a trick. Either you can either break the glass and say, oh, there's a lot of guys back there, or, I think there's a trick, I don't know.
I would say one of my personal favorite dystopians is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, because it's one of my personal favorite novels of all time. And it just the idea of a world of book burning and a world of censorship, and the things that you can connect it to is just so, it's quite frightening, and it's quite interesting. The ignorance is common among each of these individuals. It's very, people are just they're very self-centered, and they're willing to screw the person next to them. They're willing to screw their loved ones because they need to submit to this authority, except for if you're the person that is rebelling. But I think that one that really, the Utopia building, I think that The Giver is one that really caught my attention, because we're really seeing this idea of striving for sameness, striving to be like one another. There's no such thing as being unique, and it's this whole idea of wanting what everybody has but not working for it. And having the government decide
Imagination.
what you do with your life, which you see some hints of that in this society, or the hints of people expressing interest in such. But in The Giver, it's really taken to a great extreme, and then and this whole idea of there's going to be a lot of bad things that happen, but at the same time, there's a lot of good and beautiful things that happen. And when you are surrendering things that are all bad and hateful, you're also doing away with things that are good and beautiful. And I agree with Kaila with regard to the Hunger Games. For many, to me, I saw it as the Running Man meets the Vietnam War. And I think that it is quite, to make that connection of the younger generations having to pay for the mistakes that are made by the authorities. Just look at any particular war.
You can even just say, like, look at our economic situation. It's not
You have
people
to
like
pay it
us who
apart,
put
guys.
us
You
in
have to
this
pay it
economic
apart.
situation. It's our grandparents and our great grandparents that put us here, and now we're never going to be able to afford to buy a house on our own.
Exactly.
It's you don't even have to go so far as to say I was forced to fight in a war. I'm not going to be able to get a house.
Mm-hmm. There was a mob of giant cookies that they're relative. They like to eat people, and Charlie. The reason he's not here right now is the cookies were. They decided they wanted to take him to their giant-looking jar, and so I had to call for assistance to make sure that they were able to get him out. But you have any final thoughts, Kaila?
And no, read your dystopian fiction to avoid that world.
Yeah, I think that you can learn so much out of it, and I'm going to leave a link down below to the works that we referred to. But you should read so much more. I want to read much more, and we're probably going to be going over.
If you need recommendations, ask me, because I've read them all, so.
Yeah, I'm sure that Kaila will be able to pair you up with something good, or plenty of things that are good. Be sure to join us next time for another episode of Literary Gladiators. I'm going to be seeing if Charlie's okay and get him out of that giant cookie pit. And for now, keep reading.